Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel today. I'm Kevin, and today we're back to our Second World War topic. Today, we will talk about the Allies' entrance into France. So, in the last topic, we already talked about the landings of the D-Days. And today, we will talk about how that the Allies, from the places that they create the D-Day operation, or in the other name, the Operation Overlord, and make their entrance from that place or the beachheads into the French territory. So, despite their huge numbers, it took the Allies over 6 weeks to break out from their Normandy beachheads, which is the place that the Operation Overlord in the last topic, the D-Day landing, happened. But when they did it, the German army that had fought so fiercely to hold back the invaders crumbled before them. Ahead lay the French capital, Paris, and the road was clear. The fighting in Normandy had been tough. High hedges and narrow roads were made defending easy for the Germans. Thousands of dead cows killed in artillery, guns, and bombardment lay all around, adding to the chaos and stench of death. But by July 4, US troops under General Omar Bradley broke out in the south of St. Lo, and by August, the Germans were in full retreat, and a further Allied invasion from the Mediterranean added into their problems. Then, finally, the Allied troops met up in central France in mid-September. Major General Dietrich von Chotis had been given a task from Hitler himself that if the Germany cannot protect France from being invaded, they will have to destroy Paris utterly. No one or no thing will be left, no artistic monument, no standing, no church. And with this in mind, the German engineers placed demolition charge in major buildings and prepared to destroy Paris at once. But von Chotis was a loyal, even ruthless general who had served the Nazis well, and at this time he felt something uncomfortable doing this task. So one day, looking by a window high up in his Parisian headquarters, he spent a wistful evening staring out of his beautiful city. Below, a woman in a bright red dress cycled by, and he said, "I like these pretty Parisians," he told an aide. "It would be a tragedy to kill them and destroy the city." So, as the Allies drew closer to Paris and showered the generals of the Allies decided to bypass it. He did not want his troops to fight in the city and destroy the ancient buildings there. Inside the capital, events were acquiring their momentum. The police then surprisingly went on strike, and French resistance groups rose up to confront the German occupiers. Barricades were set up in the roads and sporadic fighting broke out. For some of you guys who don't know what is sporadic, which means it is just like say a little piece, small piece over large places. For example, you have a sporadic paper, which means that paper was torn into pieces and left over a place. If I told you, well, I dropped a sporadic amount of money in a school, which means that at every corner of the school, I drop a little bit of money. And then I told you to take that sporadic money, which means you have to go all over the school and take every bit of coin and money to take back to me. And that's the meaning of sporadic, which means everywhere. But it was divided. It was torn into small pieces. Alright? So, fearing a bloodbath because of the bad strategy, Eisenhower then changed his mind, and the US and Free French force headed straight for the city. Meanwhile, von Chotis, as great risk to his own life, decided to send out a message to the approaching Allied troops, telling them he was willing to surrender. On August 25, 1944, Allied troops then poured into the city after the surrenders of the German generals. So they were greeted by cheering Parisians who showered them with flowers and kisses. Others met sporadic but determined German resistance that still left even when their leaders decided to surrender. Von Chotis officially surrendered at 2:30 p.m., but as the streets filled with cheering crowds, the snipers of the German military decide that it is a good opportunity to assassinate the leaders of the Allies and also destroy the Paris by killing their people. So it would be another 24 hours before they were flushed out from their hiding place and completely being defeated. The Allies then continued their advance into the early autumn. The Belgian city of Brussels and the Antwerp fell on September 3, and the first American patrols crossed into Germany on September 11. But then the Allies came up against three significant obstacles. First is the two great rivers, the Meuse and the Rhine, and a formidable line of concrete bunkers and anti-tank barriers known as the West Wall. It was a good place to stop. After such a rapid advance, forward units were running short of supplies. So, for the moment, the war in the West came to a halt because the Allies decide this place is where they will stop and refill what they need to keep on going to Germany. Alright, so that's all I want to talk to you guys today about the fighting in France between the Allies and the Germany and how that the Germany generals, which is General von Chotis, decided to surrender because he loved the Parisians and the city. So that's all I have to talk to you guys today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And now I think it's time for saying goodbye then. See ya!